quarantine guitar enthusiasts. Little Tommy Bukovac. Homeschooling number 19. Can you believe it? We've made it that far. Hope everybody's recovering well the day after the big contest. All the response was great, all the comments. Everybody's supporting each other, and I love it. That was really fun. Maybe down the road we'll do another contest. I just got to think of a new gag, something else to do. There was a couple of, entrants that came in a little after the deadline, and highly recommend you check them out. One was Spence Papard's, I think that's how you say it. Check that out. And also check out Dale Leftwich. If anybody knows who that mysterious man Dale Leftwich is, I'd love to get in touch with him and learn some of those licks. I mean, I was like blown away by the creativity and just overall fearless boogie that he had in his playing. So yeah, and I was going to make a brief exception to my usual no gear policy and talk a little bit about studio trickery that I use, give away a few of my my recording secrets, and I'd have to talk about gear a little bit to do that. Hope you don't mind. And this is aimed more at the session guys, I suppose, out there watching. But I don't want to say these are secret weapons, but they're weapons that I use secretly. And, I'm a big fan of the retro guitar sounds, like the sort of low 50s and 60s type guitar sounds. Like some people call it spaghetti western. I just call it I always call it the doink, doinky guitars with real low sort of resonant but very retro sounds. Like a good example with that thing I was just playing, You Never My Love, by the association. But like so many. Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic, Green Onions by Booker T. All those sort of super retro sounds. If you ever are listening to any record that I played on and you hear some of that going on, it's me doing it, because I'm always trying to work that in. I love that stuff. That's why I use so many flat wound strings. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But a lot of those guys, on those records back in the 60s and stuff, that's all they had was flat wound strings. This guitar has round wound strings on it, but I'm going to show you some flats in a minute. And a lot of people think of flat wound strings as like a jazz thing, like a jazzer thing. But I think of it as more of like a retro rock thing. I love playing like raunchy power chords and distorted stuff on flat wounds and all that to get super retro sounds, because a lot of people don't use flat wounds. This old Jazzmaster is great. This thing is too noisy to use in any position but the middle position, because Jazzmasters are hum canceling in the middle. But listen to how noisy. I mean, that's the bridge, and that's the neck. Here's the middle. What a sound. So when you're getting sounds like that in the studio, there's so much low end and stuff in there, and there's not a lot of mid-range. So sometimes bass players will complain that you're getting a little too close to their territory. So what I do is I like to dial in a lot of mid-range. I'll take an EQ pedal and I'll boost the mid-range a lot. Like I've got the mid-range boosted a lot with a graphic EQ here. If I took it away, it's still the same sound, but it just doesn't have any point to it. And what you really, that point is what you really need to get it to speak in the mix at low volume. And I use that a lot, that trick. Anytime I'm playing like low, clean sounds, I gas the mid-range on EQ pedal to get it to really speak in the mix. Because if you don't, it's too much of this EQ curve. It's like a high, lots of highs and lows with no mids, and it's like a smiley face Fletcher Munson curve. Look that up. So here's another thing. I'm going to show you a couple different guitars. I've been through every pawn shop guitar. Every guitar player, every guitar player goes through this phase in their life where they want to get rid of their Gibsons and Fenders, and they want to go through all the weirdo pawn shop guitars from the 60s and stuff. And there were so many, you know, K's, Harmony, Silvertone, Teisco. There's like a million to choose from, and some of them have very interesting pickups. They're usually not the greatest, you know, playing guitars. The intonation's always screwy and all that stuff. But if you work with them, you can usually get them pretty good. And then you get to enjoy those amazing old pickups. And man, I can save you a lot of time and money. I mean, I have been through all of them. Teiscos, everything, all the different variants of pickups. Hershey bar pickups, speed bump pickups, everything. I've tried them all. And in the end, the best sounding of all of them, in my opinion, are these old Diarmans that you find in these Harmony, Silvertone. You know, these were all made by Harmony, these Stratatones, but they'll often be rebranded, everything like silver. You'll see them say Silvertone. You'll see them say Alden, Holiday. There'll be other ones, but they're all made by Harmony in Chicago in the 60s. This double pickup Stratotone Jupiter, right? These Diarman pickups here. These are my favorite of all the retro pickups to give you like just a super cool sound. Listen to this, like this is a neck pickup. Are loud. They're louder than a PAF. This guitar will keep up with any guitar you can pull out of your rack. This thing is, they're all like this. I've got one. I've had dozens of these things in my life. This one's got flat wounds on it. I've got another one that's got round wounds, and they sound great both ways. But I particularly love these for flat wounds. I've experimented with flat wounds on pretty much every guitar you could ever put them on. I don't like them on Les Pauls. I don't like them on you know, 335s. I like them. I like flat wounds on this. I like them on Jazz Masters, and I like them on this guitar. I'm going to show you one more weapon that is secret. I'm not going to say it's a secret weapon. This is like a weapon I use secretly. These old Guild Starfires, man. I've been telling my session buddies for years that these old Guild Starfires are the greatest value in all of vintage guitardom. You know how the prices of vintage guitars are just blown so out of proportion, nobody can afford any of the old Gibsons and Fenders, but these Guilds, these Starfires, are cheap and they're amazing. I've been using these for 20 years and I just love the way they sound. These little Guild mini humbuckers have so much character. They're so great for recording. Some of my most awesome tones I've ever been able to get on records have been with these. And, you know, I've had this one forever. Check this out. Neck pickup. Bridge pickup. So here's the thing about these Starfires. A couple things you got to look out for, okay? The original Starfire, the first ones came out in 1960. And in 60 and 61, they had different pickups. They were called Diarman Dynasonics, like you would find on a 50s Gretsch 6120. And those are really good pickups, but they're very noisy and they're a totally different vibe than these mini humbuckers that they started using in 62. These minis lasted from 62 up to about 66, and then they went to a full-size humbucker, which is still pretty cool. But the magic ones are these 62, 63, 64, 65 Starfires. Starfires came in many configurations, 1 through 7. The higher the number, the more pimped out it was. This is a Starfire 3. Bigsby, and it's got the original aluminum Bigsby bridge on it. Now, one more thing I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to shut up about these. When you buy one of these, if you buy one of these, you can get them for less than $2,000 still. You got to find one that's got a good brake angle behind the bridge. See that? Sometimes these old Starfires, you'll find it, there's no brake angle at all behind the bridge, and the string just basically goes straight back. And then you got problems, because every time you try to play out something with any velocity, the string pops out of the saddle. It's not good. And then at that point, the only way to fix it is to reset the neck, and that's very expensive. So if you're shopping for a Starfire, make sure you find a mini humbucker one with good brake angle behind the bridge. That's very important. See, brake angle behind the bridge is basically everything. If you don't got any brake angle, the whole guitar just feels wrong. It's very important on any guitar, really. Okay, what else can I tell you? Let's see. I think that's it for today. It's Saturday. Probably not going to do a real long episode. Going to get out and play with the kids. They're in there watching The Sandlot. Remember that movie? Killer movie. All right, guys. Take care. See you.